Welcome to Simply Home Baked, where we bring the joy of baking right to your home. I'm Mia, and today we're making our own sourdough starter, and it's actually pretty simple. It's like growing a little kitchen buddy that helps you bake amazing bread. Here's how you do it. First, you need just two things, flour and water. Whole grain flour like whole wheat or rye is best to start with because it has more natural yeast, but bread flour is another great alternative. In a clean jar or bowl, mix 1 cup of your choice of flour with half a cup of warm filtered or distilled water. The water should be warm to the touch, but not too hot as to kill the bacteria. Stir it well until it's like a thick batter. Cover the jar loosely with a lid, cloth, or paper towel, and let it sit at room temperature for 24 hours. On day 2, it's feeding time. It will have been 24 hours by now, so you'll want to check your mixture. You probably won't see much change yet, but don't worry. Throw away half of the mixture. This might seem wasteful, but it helps keep the right balance of yeast and bacteria. Remember, you will discard about a bag of flour while making your starter, but it will be worth it. When your starter is ready, you can save the discard for delicious recipes. Add half a cup of flour and a 1/4 cup of warm water to the remaining mixture. Stir it well. Days 3 to 7, don't give up. Keep feeding. For the next few days, you'll need to repeat the same process each day. Discard half of the starter. Add half a cup of flour and a 1/4 cup of warm water. Stir it up. By day 3 or 4, you should start seeing bubbles, which means the yeast is getting active. Don't worry if it smells bad. This is common, but as you continue, it will turn into a tangy sourdough smell. Day 7. You might be ready to bake. By the 7th day, your starter should be bubbly and have a tangy, yeasty smell. It should also double in size within 4 hours after feeding. That means it's ready. Give it one last feeding before you plan to bake. After 4 hours, it should be super bubbly and at its peak activity, ready to use in your recipe. A few tips to keep in mind. Keep your starter at a warm, consistent temperature, around 70 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Be patient. Sometimes it takes a bit longer than 7 days to get really active. It could take up to 30. Every starter has its own personality and will be ready in its own time. Just keep feeding it daily. Once it's active and bubbly, you can store it in the fridge and feed it once a week. When you're ready to bake, take your starter out of the fridge and feed it 1 to 2 times to wake it up. Then it's ready to use in your recipes. If you bake often, you can keep it on the counter and feed it daily. This may create usable discard. That's when you save the starter you would discard and use it in a recipe. Look for our All About Discard video. If not, keeping it in the fridge and feeding it weekly is fine. And that's it. You now have a living sourdough starter that you can use to bake all kinds of delicious things. Enjoy and happy baking!